Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Couple channel. I'm Wendy and here is my review for Smile 2. About to embark on a new world tour, global pop sensation Sky Riley begins to experience increasingly terrifying events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and pressure of fame, she must face her dark past to regain control of her life before it spirals out of control. As you can guess from the title, Smile 2 is a follow-up to the 2022 horror movie named Smile. This is also done by the same director, but in this one, we're focusing on essentially a new chapter. It's a whole new cast, but it does connect to the original movie. So I feel like before you go into this one, you might want to give the first one a watch, just so you can kind of give yourself a little bit of a background, and it's going to improve your overall viewing experience. For Smile 2, they really upped the ante on the jump scares and the gore. In the first one, there is quite a good amount of gore. Gore that will make you squirm in your seat, but this second one, like I said, they upped the ante. People were kind of, screaming out loud, as you would in a horror movie, but it's one of those you have to look away because it's so intense sort of a gore, and they do it repeatedly. A lot of jump cuts, scenes that will really frighten you. So when I say they up the ante, they really went like that extra mile to make sure that if you didn't feel satisfied with the gore from the first one, that you're gonna get your money's worth in the second one. If you've seen the first Smile, it pretty much, this movie follows the same sort of rule as far as the evil entity goes. It's an invisible entity. It latches on and sort of possesses a person and messes with them, and everybody around them kind of has that really creepy smile before something horrible happens to them. But this one, we're focusing on a pop star named Sky Riley, played by Naomi Scott. And I just have to say, before I get back into the movie, her performance is insane in this movie. I believe that this is her first time doing anything in the horror genre, and she handled it like the pro that she is. And not only that, acting like it's very intense, you have to be scared, you're screaming, you're crying, you're frightened. She is also a pop star in the movie, and she is about to embark on this new tour, so there's dancing and singing choreography as she's doing like the whole 9 yards, and she does it beautifully. So like, my hat's off to Naomi Scott. I knew that she could handle this role when I saw the trailers, but I was also like, oh, she's doing a lot for this movie, and it definitely shows. It pays off. She literally carries this movie on her shoulders, and she's so good in it. Overall, I was really happy with this movie. I had a really good time. I love feeling that intense, the feeling of being frightened and scared and sort of the thrill of it. The gore, I think that's like a situational person-to-person preference. Like, if you can handle the gore. I don't super love gore. I think I can handle it okay as long as it's not overdone. Like I said earlier in this video, they upped the ante, but I don't feel like it's gotten to a point where it was unnecessarily gory. I think they towed the line. It was almost like to the point of unnecessary, but they would pull it back just in time, and I feel like it worked really, really well. The jump scares are super effective in this one, and again, the whole movie, the premise of it is like, the creepy smiles, and they used it so well in this one. What I also really like, because it's focusing on Sky Riley and she's had a dark past, you'll see in the movie, and they tell her story really well, and they kind of like dive back into it repeatedly, the trauma of it, and why sort of this like evil invisible entity almost feeds off of it and makes it a lot stronger than it was, I would say, than the previous film. But it also focuses on the pressure of her having her traumatic past that's not attached to the entity at all, how she's dealing with that, with having to be in the public eye, going back on tour, the pressure of delivering as a pop sensation, being perfect in the public eye, being under scrutiny all the time. All of that pressure mixed with now she's got to deal with this dark entity, this evil entity, really makes her like you're watching this person break on screen. And again, Naomi Scott is completely incredible in this role. I will say initially, when I was first getting out of the theater, I didn't super love how I didn't love how they handled the third act. I thought it felt a little convoluted, a little messy. It felt a little out of place. And then on my drive home, I just couldn't get this movie out of my mind. And I kept on thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, the more I actually liked what they did with it. Obviously, I'm not going to get into it in this video. This is, non-spoiler, or as non-spoiler as much as I can help it. But I actually like the way they handled it, and you'll have to watch the movie to find out what they do with the third act. But I went from going, oh, this is a little too extra, to, oh wait, I kind of like how it's done. I also feel like there were certain parts that were borrowed from these sort of like, I'll call it like chainmail consequences, like horror movies in ways of Final Destination. I feel like they sort of borrowed into that. They leaned into that a little bit. And if you're familiar with Final Destination, once you get to that part of the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I sort of didn't love that they explore that side of it. I kind of wish they didn't, that they would have stayed original and thought of something else. But it was kind of a short-lived moment anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter, but it was like sort of like a nitpick that I have on this movie. Overall, I had a really good time. I love that they like leveled up this movie on the gore, on the creepiness, on the jump scares, the visuals, and even a little bit of the body horror, which we didn't really get into in the first one, but we got some in the second one. Is there a third? Potentially, I don't know. There is no post-credit scene, but watch till the, obviously. Let me know once you've seen the movie if you feel like you would like to see a third one. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and give you my rating for Smile 2. I'm going to give this a check it out. Look, it's the horror season. This is the time to grab a bunch of your friends, go to the theater, and a movie like Smile 2 is best enjoyed in theaters because you have that crowd reaction where it makes it way more fun to watch than to watch by yourself in your living room. So with that said, that is my rating. Let me know your thoughts on Smile 2 once you've seen it in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.